Hello, my name is Hope Suggett, and I am your personal awareness facilitator at Your Essential Spirit Quest. Today I'm bringing you a brief little tutorial about journaling as a self-care practice. Now, I speak often and passionately about self-care. Self-care is a sacred act that helps us to harmonize our mind, body, and spirit, which allows us to be our optimal best self. One thing I especially appreciate about the practice of self-care is that it is subjective to the person practicing it. How I define self-care may be different from how you define it, and I'm not about to tell you my ways are better than yours. Instead, I like to share some of my favorite self-care practices as a way of encouraging you to either adopt them or create some of your own. That being said, let's jump right into one of my favorite self-care practices, journaling. And I can hear the groans now. I know some of you are thinking that it's way too much work, you don't have the time, and frankly, what's the purpose of journaling? I know a lot of people don't like it, but if you watch this entire video, you're going to find I address all of these limiting belief questions, and you may just find yourself willing to give journaling another go. So let me begin by telling you what journaling isn't. It is not the same as keeping a diary, unless you want it to be that. However, typically journaling is not a review of your day or what you ate, the weather, or even your triumphs and defeats. Journaling as self-care is about exploring the deepest part of yourself. That's the land of your hopes and dreams, and it's also the evolution as your spiritual being. This is an area we often avoid out of fear of what we're going to find there. However, those discoveries are exactly what launches us out of the mundane and into the magical, where our hopes and dreams come to life. Journaling as self-care is easy and only takes a few minutes a day. Today I'm going to share 4 different ways you can practice journaling as self-care. You don't need a bunch of fancy spiritual tools. You only need a pencil and a piece of paper to get going. Now, I would suggest setting aside some alone time. Begin with allowing yourself 10 minutes of solitude. Hide in the bathroom if necessary. Just make that space and time. Then increase the experience by increasing the time or frequency you journal. If you make this a daily practice, I promise you within 6 weeks, you will have developed a new habit, and you will notice positive changes are occurring in your life. The first journaling as self-care practice I'll share uses either an oracle deck or tarot deck. Now, I include this practice in my every morning in my daily prayer practice. You can bet I'm going to be pulling an oracle card or a tarot card. And sometimes I'll use a particular deck for a month or a season as a daily focus. Or I'll just use my intuition and just grab whatever deck my spirit is calling to. Once I have my oracle deck selected, I simply ask it, "What message do you have for me today?" And I begin picking up the cards from the middle, and I allow the deck to cut naturally. Sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes it's closer to the top of the deck. Wherever gravity separates the cards is where I will pick my card from. I read the message of the card, and then I journal what I understand that message to mean, whether it's relevant to my intention if I have one or not. Now here's the journal that I'm using in my daily practice currently. It's nothing fancy, and it wasn't expensive to buy. I have fancier ones that I use for spell crafting and rituals and magical recipes, but for daily journaling, I like something that's durable and easy to work with. As you can see, I use different colors, pens, to represent the theme of the message I'm receiving, like pink for love, blue for tranquility, green for manifesting, etc. I also use symbols to punctuate thoughts and feelings, and I make lists of important ideas to ponder. I'll also write little poems and other little bits of knowledge and wisdom that I want to hang on to just in the margin of this journal here. Right now, I don't have a specific intention or focus I'm working on, so I'm just using an oracle deck that encourages wandering, the sacred traveler. This isn't a sponsored video, I just wanted to share which deck I'm currently using. Now, it's not necessary to have an intention in order to journal this way. You can just allow your higher self to guide you to the right and perfect card for you to explore in your journaling. If you are using tarot cards, the instructions are the same as for oracle cards. However, even though there's probably a general explanation of the tarot card's meaning, you must use your intuitive gift to find out what the actual message is. Once you do, then go ahead and journal your thoughts and feelings on it. The second way to practice journaling as self-care is to use stream of consciousness writing. This is also a form of divination where you surrender your consciousness to your higher self. You allow those messages to just flow out through your pencil. All you need for this method is pencil and paper and a little preparation. After grounding yourself and surrounding yourself with energetic protection, sit down with the pencil and paper. And with the pencil in your non-dominant hand, that's going to be your left hand if you're a right-handed person, you want to just take a deep breath and begin writing. Don't censor it or go back and edit it. Just allow the words to flow without paying attention to what you're writing. It doesn't even have to be complete sentences. Just write. Using this method takes patience and a willingness to open to your higher consciousness. If you are comfortable with meditation, this journaling practice may work for you. Now, after you feel complete with this writing, go back and read what you wrote down. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't make sense. It may later. But the most important benefit is allowing your psyche a chance to play. With regular practice, you may find your creative thinking has expanded. The third method for journaling as self-care is using themed journals. There are hundreds of these on the market. I even wrote one myself called Learning, a Personal Awareness Journal. I call themed journals working journals. They each have a specific purpose, and they guide you through the process with questions, quotes, or a paragraph or two of a topic to think about. Check out some samples of themed journals right here. Now, this method of journaling is the easiest for beginners. Much like guided meditations, it's like training wheels for learning a new skill. Even though I've used journaling as a self-care practice for many, many years, I still use themed journals for specific intentions. Dream journals, gratitude journals, seasonal journals, those are my favorite of the themed journals. And I highly recommend learning a personal awareness journal for those who want to increase their personal awareness in order to increase their personal power. I'll leave a link to that journal in the description of this video. And I'm also creating more theme journals for you, and we'll soon have those available on my website. But theme journals are so easy to use. They just really guide you through this whole journaling process, and it's a great way to learn a new practice. The fourth and final way of journaling as self-care involves my favorite teacher healers, crystals. And I'm taking liberty here calling them all crystals, but for the sake of easy communication, let's just call them that. I have a bag of 9 crystal hearts. Each one represents one of the 9 major chakras. After pulling my daily oracle card, I ask these crystals, which one of you will activate this message? And I'll pull one out. It will represent the chakra I use to activate the message. You can use the same method for your journaling as self-care practice. Get yourself a bag of colored stones or paint some yourself. Make sure that you seal them against wear and tear. And then just put them in a bag. Draw one each morning and use it as a focus for an area of your life that holds a message. For instance, if you drew the green stone for the heart chakra, you may want to consider where you can be more loving or where you can increase the flow of love to you. Journal about it and include any action steps that you're going to take with this new awareness. Okay, I think I destroyed all of those limited belief questions by showing you just how easy it is to journal as a self-care practice. You can quickly do it. I mean, it's 10 minutes that you can fit into your day, yeah? And I briefly, but only very briefly, described the purpose of journaling. I kept it brief because the purpose is somewhat complicated, yet also very simple. When you practice self-care, you are saying to yourself, I matter. I have value. I love myself, and I want that love to grow. The purpose of journaling is whatever your intention is. Even if your intention is to be completely unintentional in your journaling, you will find purpose in the practice. Through your daily journaling as self-care practice, you can expect to discover these blessings: increased psychic ability, clarity of intention, peace of mind, confidence and strength of spirit, and guidance on your life journey. I hope you enjoyed this brief tutorial. You know I always welcome your comments and your questions, so please feel free to drop me an email here on YouTube or go to Y.E.S. at youressentialspiritquest.com and drop me a message there. And if you have a topic you'd like me to teach or a product you'd like me to review, please drop me a message for that as well.